3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Ghost Pirate Presents Horrorween. This is episode 6 of 13. And in this episode we will be talking about Return of the Living Dead.
In the dark of the night, something strange is going on.
Return of the Living Dead is one of the most entertaining horror movies ever made, in my opinion. I was super late to the party on this movie. I've been hearing about it my whole life, but because of the name, I just always correlated it to Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. I just thought I had already seen it somehow, and I had no idea it was a different movie than those. I just always thought it was just kind of in that same fold and thought I had already seen it, or if I hadn't, it was like whatever, it's just like those. It wasn't until early this year that I finally checked it out. Sitting around with COVID, bored, watching everything I could think of. Saw the name, I was like, fuck yeah, I'll check it out. I was blown away. This movie is so fun and it is very different. So, I mean, if you've seen Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and you're thinking this is going to kind of be the same as those, and so you haven't checked it out, kind of like what I did, I'm telling you, you're way off base just like I was. This is its completely own thing. It's very fun, very 1980s. Basically, you take fun 80s color and punk rock and you blend it together with horror and 80s horror, and you have this very unique, very fun, just a complete blast. Everything about this movie is exciting and colorful and fun. The way the zombies' practical makeup is done is outstanding. The special effects done in this are bar none. Some of the most beautifully shot, done gore that you'll ever see. And it's just so fun. Everything, the way it's done. All the characters are fun in this. All the deaths are fun in this. This movie is not really meant to scare you. It's much more a campy entertainment type of thing. But it's not extremely campy either, because it is done well with a good budget. So it's not really low budget, cheesy, campy kind of thing. It's definitely in that higher realm, but it has that campy sense of humor. There's just so much to see here. Cartman might be my favorite zombie character of any of the zombie genre of horror. And the zombies in general have so much more personality and humor in this than probably anything else. The only other movie I could think of that has zombies with this kind of level of entertainment would be Shaun of the Dead. The thing about Shaun of the Dead is they took a lot from this movie, which I hadn't realized. I had just always clumped it in with those other Dead movies, so I didn't realize how much for Shaun of the Dead and a lot of other horror had been taken directly from this movie. And this is a movie that is so beloved by horror movies that once I really realized what movie this was and how I had only seen clips but hadn't really ever seen this movie, then I realized how popular it is. So my favorite part of this movie is probably the crazy punk rock teenagers. They're just so fun to watch, so silly, and it's just very 80s. 80s music, 80s hair, that really fun 80s punk rock that I love so much. And I mean, they're just hanging out. So the hot punk rock girl gets naked in the cemetery and the rest of them are all dancing around. And it's just a lot of fun. It starts raining. Zombies start coming out of the ground. It is just the craziest, most fun thing you're going to see. This is just such a loved movie. And I'm so glad that I finally now understand why everybody talks about this movie all the time. Now I can call myself a diehard fan. It is literally a movie that I hadn't seen until this year and is now probably in my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. Because of just how fun it is. It's not necessarily the most well-made horror movie ever, but it is just such a fun time. It's just such a fun movie to watch, and you know that to me, that's what horror is about. To me, horror is about just having a good time. It doesn't have to be taken so seriously, and this movie doesn't take it serious. This movie just has fun with it. And that's what makes it such a great movie. Sadly, it just left streaming platforms. But this movie is so good, I recommend just buying it straight up on Blu-ray. I got it on Amazon for like around $10. And I promise you that it's worth spending the $10 to get this on Blu-ray with all the special features and whatnot. So all I can say is, send more cops. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember, horror can be fun. I will see you guys next time.
Send more cops.
It worked in the movie! Well, it ain't working now. Read the movie line!
It's not a bad question, Bert. It's not a bad question, Bert. It's not a bad question, Bert.
The return of the